Ideas for a fairy garden. In addition to miniature patio furniture, a tiny trellis complements the fairy garden. In lieu of a flowering vine, you can substitute a small creeping flowering plant, which you can train over the trellis as if it were a vine. Try woolly thyme, which sports pink blooms in the spring, or Mazis reptans, which comes in purple and white flowering varieties. Any flower gardener who uses terracotta pottery regularly will probably end up with at least one cracked or broken piece, and this is a clever way to reuse it in the fairy garden. Chunks of broken rim become stairs, and tiny creeping plants and sphagnum moss stop erosion from ruining the effect. Plants like the pink polka dot plant Hypestes phylostachya included in this garden will need to be pruned often to stay within bounds. If you're a do-it-yourself gardener, or you just prefer natural garden materials to purchased ones, consider creating fairy garden furniture from twigs you collect. A water feature in the fairy garden may need frequent cleaning, as you can't install the pumps and filters that a standard pond would have. A drop of bleach will help keep the water fresh, discourage mosquitoes, and squelch algae growth, especially in sunny situations. If this adds too much maintenance to the garden, get the look of water with a small mirror or piece of blue glazed ceramic. Pink flowering kalanchoe plants are tropical succulents that thrive in high light and arid conditions, so combine them with plants that need similar growing conditions. The plants can handle some additional moisture provided you give them excellent drainage. The pink foliage plant growing alongside the kalanchoe is the succulent Setcrecia, a variant of the common wandering Jew plant. When designing a fairy garden, it's common to overdo the tiny theme with an overabundance of miniature plants and accessories, but adding few large items adds scale and perspective to a small landscape. Instead of a sprinkling of shiny pebbles, larger pieces of flagstone make a grand path leading up to the fairy garden house. Some popular fairy garden plants, like this kalanchoe, have a limited blooming time, leaving the garden without color for much of the season. Leave the focal plant in its pot, and switch out the container for a different plant when the flowers taper off. This also allows for seasonal themes like a Christmas fairy garden to be implemented. Chartreuse leaves work just as well a vivid foil against purple African daisy flowers in a fairy garden as they would in a standard garden. The small landscape of the fairy garden makes the color choice in garden design especially important, as too many colors in a small space can appear cluttered. Better to stick with 2 or 3 complementary colors, like pink and white, yellow and blue, or purple and green. A periwinkle blue metal gazebo and matching bridge allow you to express your love for color in a way you might not do in a standard scale garden. Fairy garden accessories come in a wide range of materials, including resin, ceramic, metal, and stone. Invest in high-quality pieces that won't crack or fade if your fairy garden will be permanently housed outdoors. A stepping stone for a standard-sized garden becomes an embellished patio in a fairy garden. Although it would be nearly impossible to keep lawn grass in a pleasing shape for the fairy garden, Scotch moss makes a fine stand-in for a fairy lawn. As a bonus, this slow-spreading perennial produces dainty white flowers in the spring. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more interesting videos. And please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm.